April council meeting to order. And again, we will be graced with an invocation by Reverend Ed McQueen from the First Baptist Church. I understand he had a little car trouble, but he was trying to get here, and I was glad to see him. He's going to provide the invocation for us, and then after that, we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. Reverend McQueen.
All right, let's unite our hearts in prayer. Lord God, we acknowledge tonight that apart from you, we are not and we have not. Nevertheless, being the generous God that you are, you've provided us with all we need, so much more than that. And Lord, we also are thankful tonight that you are not a God who just dwells in church houses, that being everywhere with us, you are ready to help us in our homes, our families, our businesses, and here tonight in City Hall. We thank you for the leaders you've given us. We are blessed by their wisdom, their insight, their caring. We thank you for them. Yet, Lord, neither they nor we will rely upon ourselves alone to find your best. So we ask tonight that you would make yourself known, give us your leadership, give us your guidance, we pray. In the name of your Son, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Let's stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Now, before we go into the approval of the minutes and all of these things that's next on the agenda, I understand that there is supposed to be a hearing at 6:30, and it's a hearing to request a property that's located at 607 South Camellia Boulevard to be rezoned from industrial, which is R2, and this person was authorized by Sunmark Community Bank, who was the property owner. She's under contract. The property is under contract in the event it gets rezoned. It is my understanding that the rezoning officer board has recommended that we approve this zoning. Now, this was not on your agenda on Tuesday night for discussion, but we have a recommendation from that board that we approve it. And we have to have the hearing first.
Now, let me correct it. The board didn't have a quorum.
Oh, okay.
So that letter came from the staff.
Okay. All right. Is there anyone here representing the property owner?
Yes.
Okay. Would you address us, please?
Yes, my name is Jacqueline Bryant, and my husband and I, Frankie Bryant, is our intent to open a worship center at the said location. At the time, we did inquire about the zoning, and we were told that it was institutional zoning, and so that's why we began the work. Later, just to find out that it was not zoned for a church, and so that is why the request was submitted.
Okay. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask of, I would say, Pastor Bryant and Mrs. Bryant, or Pastor, whatever. You have any question that you would want to ask of them? This place, for your information, is the former Ogletree building and supply building in that area. In the opinion of the staff, it does not constitute spot zoning because it's already zoned there. There are residential uses, single-family dwellings that's directly southwest of the property. If you have any other questions to ask of the Bryants this evening, please do so now. If not, we will bring this up when we get down to the new business on the agenda. Any questions? Excuse me? Is there anybody who opposes this rezoning that's here tonight? No one? No one? Any questions from the audience? All right, I declare the hearing closed. Thank you so much for being here. And when we get down to the discussion items on the agenda, we will revisit that. All right, next we have the approval of minutes. And we have two sets of minutes, one for March 19th, which was our regular meeting, and one for April the 7th, which was a call meeting. Okay? Need to hear, you had these in your notebooks on Tuesday night. You had the opportunity to review them. What do I hear in regards of these minutes?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes for March 19th, 2015.
I second it.
Okay, motion by Bryant, second by Hester, that we accept the meetings of March 19th. Are there any questions? Then I call for the vote. All in favor of accepting the minutes of March 19th, let it be known by the word aye. Aye. And opposes the same sign. And the motion is carried. It's unanimous. Thank you. All right, now the next set of minutes was a call meeting on April the 7th. What do I hear in regards of, that's where the mayor and council met with the DDA Main Street representative Bobby Barn and Kathy Lambert on some issues. What do I hear in regards of this set of minutes?
I make a motion, Mayor, that we accept them as stated.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Lane, seconded by Bryant, that we accept the April 7th minutes. You heard the question. Are you ready for the vote? I call for the vote. All in favor of acceptance, let it be known by the word aye.
Aye.
And opposes, same sign. No opposes, and it's unanimous. Thank you so much. All right. The announcements by the mayor, one quick announcement. Our jazz festival that you had been hearing the bees swarm about, that was going to be at the festival park, has been rescheduled for August the 27th through the 29th. So keep on your dancing shoes until August 27th. That was due to a lot of things. Number one, poor weather. Number two, the response online was very slow due to not enough time to really market and promote it like it needed to be, and the company asked for more time. So August the 27th through 29th is the Axiom Jazz Festival in the park. I say again, keep your dancing shoes on. Now, also Relay for Life, I think, is this weekend, this Saturday. And I don't know what the time frame of that is. I don't have that in front of me. I understand the format has changed. Instead of it being Friday night and Saturday now, it starts at noon on
I
Saturday.
think it's going noon to midnight.
Noon to midnight on Saturday at Hunt Elementary School parking lot.
The track, Mayor.
The track,
Yeah.
yes.
Which has recently been lighted, I understand.
Okay, great. Did we have a team?
No,
we-
ma'am, we didn't.
We don't have a team this time. Okay,
But Miss Daisy is taking donations, so any of you all want to give donations to the Cancer Society, Miss McCreary is taking those.
okay. Thank you so much. I remember former Councilman John Ezel. Daisy would come to him first and hit him first, and Ezel always contributed. And so I miss, at times like that, we miss that in the history program out at the Black History program out at the university. We know he was an avid supporter of both those causes. All right, so let's see, Daisy, if you want to make a contribution on behalf and add to the city. All right, the next thing on our
Need to talk about the construction pickup. What we discussed in the work session about picking up construction material.
we need to do that when we have the
Report.
when we have the reports, the public works reports. Let's defer that until that time. Thank you. The next thing on our agenda is the Employee of the Month recognition. Now, somehow or another that check got hidden. I didn't put it in my purse. I don't have a purse up here. There it is. All right. The Employee of the Month, actually it was the employee for the month of March, and he was not able to be here. The employee for the month this time because the one that does our plaques is out of town, so we'll be running a month behind on recognition. But the employee of the month is Mr. Jason Wells. Jason is a firefighter. He was recommended as employee of the month because at Hunt Elementary School, just before they had their monthly fire drill, they had a KKK, a KK, a pre-K child, I guess, a kindergarten child to get sick with a fever of 104.1. They tried calling parents, but there were no working numbers. Jason very quickly picked up his phone and called a colleague, Dontavius Elliott, and then they came, went to the child's home, knocked on the door, and only to find that she had no way to come to pick up a sick child from school. This young man transported the parent and the younger sibling to the school to pick up a sick child with the 104-degree temperature, 0.1 degree temperature. Once he gets here to the school, Jason and Dontavius decided that the child's temperature was too high for her just to go home. So they took her to the Fort Valley emergency room. I feel like both these gentlemen went above, and I agree, and beyond the call of duty. They said also, Mayor Williams, I would like to know how can we get someone to build our school for a few handicap ramps, because we had several students who are wheelchair bound, and I noticed that because we don't have these in place, it took a little longer to get clearance for our monthly fire drill. So maybe we might need to address that in another one of our meetings, or address that with the principal or the superintendent or whoever we need to address it with. But these gentlemen went above and beyond the call of duty in helping this child and her mother out. And that's the kind of thing we like to do. Congratulations, man. And you have a plaque here and a check. And I do see somebody who can share that check with you. And a little one too. So thank you so much for what you do. Thank you. You want to present who you have here with us? Okay. He's got his wife and the son, and hopefully that's enough of a check to go take them all out there. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
for what
Jason.
you do. This is not only the second time our employees are helping people throughout our community, from the garbage truck driver who finds the young man in the trash dumpster, all the way to these kinds of emergencies. And we thank you so much for stepping to the bat to do that. All right. Do we have anybody here to address mayor and council tonight that we don't have on the agenda? Anyone? Okay. Thank you. Then we go down to the new business, and the first on your agenda is the rezoning or the plan rezoning for what we just talked about, had the hearing for a few minutes ago. And it has been recommended that we consider approving this rezoning request. What do I hear in regards of it?
I think it's pretty cut and dry based on
Okay.
what you said, so I make a motion that we accept it.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion by Lane, seconded by Bryant, that we accept the recommendation and approve the rezoning of this property. All in favor of it, let it be known by the word aye.
Aye.
Excuse me, employees, the same sign. And motion carries. It's unanimous. Thank you so much. Behind tab number 2, we have a resolution, actually 2. We have 2 people who want to serve on the Historic Preservation Board. Woo, woo. We're glad to know that we have people still in the community who are willing to do volunteer service. Now, the first one, Mr. Rich Adams' son, we didn't get on Tuesday night a a resume or a letter or anything of that. I think most of us know Rich. Is there anybody up here who does not know Rich Adams?
I have a simple letter I can give you. I didn't bring it with me.
Oh, he's back there, I ain't see it.
Yeah, he's sitting back there. Does anybody know Rich Adamson? I think Rich is trying to get out of doing some honeydews. So he's finding something else to do. Oh, I didn't need to say that on TV, did I, Rich? But Rich has retired. We're glad he's retired. And I have served with him on the DDA board, and I found him to be a man of integrity. That's just from a personal thing. I'm not trying to get you to approve anything. What do I hear in regard of this?
We got to carry that out. I'll make a motion that we accept the two names.
I second it.
Okay, been motion by Bryant, seconded by Hester, that we accept the two names, which would be Rich Adamson and Mr. Ed Watson, which we did have a letter from on Tuesday night, and everybody knows Ed. All in favor of that, let it be known by the word aye.
Aye.
And the opposers, the same sign. No opposers, and the motion carries. Yes,
Before
ma'am.
we go any further,
Yes.
Mr. Bryant is a Fort Valley native, and he and his wife will be Fort Valley Natians, and welcome. Mhm.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let us know what we can do to help your endeavor better. All right, now.
We still have some vacancies on that
That's what
historic
I-
preservation
my
board. So if
Okay, how
anybody's-
many? Is it two more?
At least two.
Two
We have
more.
one that's expiring this month, and I'm hoping that she will be reappointed.
How many
I think
total
it's still-
people?
No,
Five?
don't
I
ask
think it's
me.
supposed to be five.
Five.
At least five, isn't it?
And we need one more, Martha?
I think
Yes.
maybe two more. Thank you.
I will
Okay.
be recruiting some people.
Very good,
Thank you.
very good. So we want to make the announcement that we still have vacancies. So do the same process. Notify Ms. Martha McAfee up here that of your intent to serve, and we will work with that. Thank you so much. Now, I'm going to move the third item down to the end, the old hospital property, because we need to go into executive session to discuss attorney-client privilege. We will be taking action after that's over. So we will move that down to the end for executive session, and that will be after department reports. Okay? Number 4, FY 2014 year-end budget amendments. Martha, you want to address that for us?
As we discussed on Tuesday evening, the auditors are near completing the annual report for the year ending September 30th, 2014. And as a part of that process, there are some amendments that you all need to consider doing to your year-end budgets. I think I've got them all spelled out for the different departments. And once you all take action on those amendments, I'll let the auditors know, and then probably within a couple of weeks, they should have the audit report ready.
Okay.
We discussed all these Tuesday night.
Tuesday night, yes. I'll entertain a motion.
I so move that we accept this resolution as written.
I second.
Okay, moved by Barnes, seconded by Lane, that we accept the resolution as written. All in favor, let it be known by the word aye.
Aye.
And the opposers, the same sign. No opposers, the motion carries. Thank you. All right, number 5, behind tab number 5 is a resolution authorizing the sale of surplus property. There are 2 vehicles here that have been offered by Public Works for surplus. One is a 1998 Mack Road tractor, and the other one is a 1923 Ford dump truck. I'll entertain a motion. We discussed this not only in Public Works on Tuesday morning, but also in the work session on Tuesday night. I'll entertain a motion.
Any comments, Jimmy?
No, I make a motion that we put these 2 vehicles as surplus and sell them as quick as we can.
I second.
All right, moved by Barnes, seconded by Lane, that we declare the 2 vehicles surplus property. All in favor, let it be known by the word aye.
Aye.
And opposers, the same sign. No opposers, the motion carries. Thank you. All right, behind tab number 6 is a resolution, a certificate of appropriateness, wherein a request is made by Mr. Norman Cantrell to remove a dilapidated structure located at 402 West Church Street. Mind you that this is in the historic district, but the property belongs to Mr. Cantrell, and there are problems with the property. I talked to Mr. Cantrell some time back to find out if other things could be considered with it, and he indicated that he could not do that. He cannot afford to fix it up. It's a hazard. It's a health hazard as well. And so we talked about this and discussed it at length on Tuesday night. I'll entertain a motion about the property.
I make a motion to accept the resolution to demo the house on 402 West Church Street.
And I second, Mayor, I'd like to make a comment. Is that, I mean,
Sure, that's fine.
you know, this is not something that we want to do on a regular basis, but in this particular case, I think the previous families have agreed to this demolition process, as well as all the surrounding neighbors. So, you know, we're very sensitive to the historic district, and we certainly don't want this to be a habit. But in this particular case, I think it's a detriment to those that live in around this particular property, as was presented to the council in the work session.
Not only that, Councilman Lane, I think it has been indicated that the neighbors in that area have been trying to put a bandage on the property for quite a while to try to keep it in the shape that it's in, and it's just gotten to the point where they just cannot do that anymore. So all of the neighbors that signed off on this petition to have that done indicates that they are in favor of this.
And I may make a mention that it will not cost the city any money to
Right.
to perform this demolition.
And Councilwoman Collins, if she was here, she would say she would cheer because they're doing it on their own dime. Okay, so the motion been seconded by Bryant, and
She made the motion.
I mean made the motion by Bryant, seconded by Lane. All in favor? Any more questions? First of all in favor, let it be known by the word aye. Opposers?
Aye.
Okay, one opposer, and that's 4-1, and the motion carries. Thank you so much. All right, number 7, behind tab number 7 is the new district ordinance. We talked about this the last time.
Wait a minute, maybe we jumped the gun on that.
Which
I
one we
think-
jumped on?
We jumped, I think we're behind 6.
No, we just did 6.
Yeah, we're behind 7.
Tab number 7.
Yeah.
On the new district ordinance, you all already approved the plan that you all wanted to implement. So in order to move forward in implementing that, there's some steps that you all have to go through. The first one is to actually do the amendment to your charter. So the ordinance that I've drawn up is the ordinance that you all would need to adopt to actually put those new East Ward, West Ward lines in place. The code also states that you all have to do it 2 times. So it'll be on your agenda again in May, and there's a notice that will be placed in the Leader Tribune for 3 weeks, letting people know that the map is on display in City Hall if they want to come and review it. So you all have this month and again next month.
Okay, and she has also included the tracks, the data with the tracks and everything in this one, in this resolution. And I think we are within our time frame for adopting what we need to adopt before it's time for another election. Am I right?
That's what we're working on.
That's what we're working on. Okay, All right, I need to know what's your wishes in regards to this adoption. We have already approved it, but the adoption of the stats.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of discussion about it, and we've actually been to Macon twice to get these numbers right. Would I be correct in saying that? We
Sure.
all
We
agreed.
didn't have any public input on it.
Right.
What shall I hear in regards to it?
I'll make a motion that we accept it as discussed and presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Lane, second by Barnes, that we accept this resolution as written and discussed. All in favor, let it be known by the word aye.
Aye.
Opposes, the same sign.
Aye.
Okay, one opposer and 4, and so the motion carries.
I
All right.
still oppose it because we didn't give the public or the community an opportunity to review the plans before we decided what we were gonna have.
Okay. Okay. So noted, Councilwoman Bryant. All right, number 8, behind tab number 8 is a resolution expressing support for the proposal for the aviation program for Fort Valley State University. Now, on Tuesday, the council gave me sanction to draft a letter to the Board of Regents requesting that they give some consideration to that aviation program. And along with that will be a signed resolution on council, so I won't be out there by myself. There's been pros and cons, the reason why we have said that this is needed, and the Board of Regents have not entertained any of the proposals that Fort Valley State University has done at this time. And so as a result of that, there's a call to action being done, and not only your council, but other people are asked to speak up also for the economic development of not only this community, but the region and the state. So we ask that you join us and in support of this degree program. All right, what do I hear in regards of your resolution?
You want to comment anything?
Any comments?
No, I'd like to say, as a councilman, I've been working on this with Lieutenant Colonel Bob Hamilton for over 3.5 years. And we are still working our tails off, and we think that this will be one of the greatest things to ever happen to Fort Valley State if we can get it in. And I am not gonna quit working until they just push me off the steps or whatever. So this is just another part of the process, and we need everybody's support that we can possibly get. Thank you. So I
Thank you.
make a motion that we accept this resolution and let the mayor send it as written.
Second it.
Okay, motion by Barnes, seconded by Bryant, that we adopt the resolution. All in favor, let it be known by the word aye.
Aye.
Opposers, same sign. No opposers, and the motion carries. We will do that tomorrow. Thank you. All right, that ends the new business except for item number 3, which we're going to discuss in executive session first and then come back out and take action. Let's go to department reports to do that. All right, Bryant, are you going to do the public safety and yours this time? Thank you.
Personnel, we've hired 2 temporary employees at Public Works. For your police department, total cost for service is $3,562. Call for service reactive is $1,370. Incident reports filled, 492. Warrants served, 24. Tickets issued, 59. Traffic accidents, 51. Drug arrests, 4. Custodial arrests, 38. 24 aid to motorists, 82 alarm calls, 51 escorts, 16 prisoner escorts, Suspicious person 600, suspicious person 62. Total training hours 1,058, traffic stops 75, juvenile problems 18, house watch requests 1, security checks performs 281, unsecured doors found 4, welfare check performed 4, animal control calls 21, and 911 error calls 30. Fire department. 1 building fire, 2 passenger vehicle fires, 1 forest fire, woodland fire, 2 outside rubbish fire, 10 medical assist EMS, 1 extraction of vehicle, 1 gas leak, 1 vehicle accident, 1 person in distress, 1 assist police, 7 false alarms, 4 alarm activations. Training, physical training 60 hours, emergency medical training 26 hours, fire behavior 12 hours, street training 11, 6 policy, 6 hours policy, general safety 5 hours, vehicle maintenance 5 hours, firehouse safe software 3 hours, pump training 2 hours, activities, career day at Hunt Elementary, MDA fundraiser at Harvest on 3/21, fire drill, Middle Georgia, Fort Valley Middle School. MDA fundraiser at Harvard was on the 28th of March. Public Education Festival Park on 4/4. Divine Inspections, Divine Design Salon, Fort Valley Health and Rehab Center, Chevron, Wellcraft Ironworks, Fantastic Smiles, Dry Cleaning and Laundry, Fort Valley Senior Citizens, and Valley Automotive and Dollar General. Chief, you want to add to this?
Yes, I know there's been a lot of questions and stuff about the cases we're working with grapes and murder. Just want all the citizens to know that the cases are actually working. A lot of people they ask me operational questions, which I can't answer. I will tell you that we are employing some different techniques in trying to get to the person. This is a anomaly. We generally don't have problems like this. If anybody has any information, please feel free to contact me at the police department, and we'll follow up on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. All right. That it? Okay. We're gonna do a switcheroo right here and go down to Public Works. Mr. Barnes?
Okay, under administrative end, we brought in $5,221.50 of total revenue collected there at the main office. Of course, you guys know this is for demo and lot clearing, transfer station debris that people bring there, and other sanitation fees that are billed. We answered approximately 600 calls. We acted on 300. The other 300 we redirected to the proper places. Fleet maintenance. We did $195 worth of work on the city marshal's van and $452 worth of savings for public safety vehicles. On the sanitation end, we did 21 calls for broken carts, and besides your regular pickups that you get for your trash and pick up your regular leaves, we made an extra 30 calls for yard debris and leaves where people put it out after the fact of it being picked up. We swept 62 streets on a street sweeper that's on its last leg. We hauled 851 tons of residential type garbage to the Taylor County landfill, and 74.16 tons to the landfill with C&D, which is construction and demolition. That's because we took down 3 different houses. We're also picking up dumpsters for refurbishing them. We've gone through a real good process. We saved the city a lot of money replacing the floors, painting them up, cleaning them up, instead of buying brand new ones. So now that we're on a regular routine, we're keeping them up, clean, looking pretty, and functional. Real proud of that. The parks, cemetery, and the streets guys, well, you know it's raining. They're still out there doing their job. And I can promise you, when this rain quits and the sun hits, there's going to be more grass cutting than you've seen in a long time. So when you do, please separate your grass and your limbs. Please, I'm gonna keep iterating this all the time. It makes it easier for us to pick up. We've had an incident where a particular individual put roofing down, then covered it up with limbs, and what does that help? Absolutely nothing. So, just letting you know. People don't realize this, but it costs money to pick up stuff from our guys, take it to the landfill, pay dumping fees, and everybody else is paying for that. But when we keep doing it for certain people or certain projects and not getting paid for it, it's gonna cost us all in the long run. Just to let everybody know that. And on the stormwater report, we're trying to finish up the retention pond. Silt fence, we're checking the dams, construction entrance. We've updated the documentation for the EPD. On our Hicks Boulevard, we did maintenance on drainage ditches up and down the street. We graded runoffs and fixed erosion issues down up and down that particular street. On Spruce Street, the Holt Cultural Center, we continued grading for the proper runoff of the second football field. There are a few things that we need to be completed, which are the bleachers, and they're ordered for the walking track. Boys and Girls Club, graded for runoff for both slabs. The basketball court and pavilion slab, the pavilion and benches were also ordered. So, this guy's doing a great job, and just keep it up.
I do want to say thank you, Mr. Barnes. I want to say to the public, to our citizens, they have been calling when they have somebody that will do some work on their houses and various things, and how people don't want to pick it up without a charge. I do want to emphasize construction debris. There is a charge for construction debris. Now, we have people that will say, well, I did the work myself and I pulled it out to the road. But when it gets to be a certain amount, it's going to cost us when we go to the landfill. So please, ma'am, and please, sir, keep that in mind. We don't want our garbage costs to go up any higher. Not promising that it won't, but we don't want to do it because somebody's being dishonest. So construction debris, a person who does work on a house should order a dumpster and pay for that to be picked up. Please, ma'am, and please, sir, help us with that. And then on vacant lots, when there's stuff left on vacant lots, even though we don't want our city to look a mess, there's a process that we have to go through in order to go on private property and get anything done. We can't do it for the private citizen, even if it's our property, and those folks live in Miami somewhere. They sometimes don't care how our community looks here in Fort Valley. But we have to go through a process, and Calvin has to sign off on it before our public work people could do anything about it, even if we were going to clear it. So work with us on that if you would. Okay, anything, Melba?
Okay, the administrative department. City complaints, we had 6 inoperative vehicles, 7 overgrown vacant lots. Scheduled for demolish, we did not have any houses this time scheduled for that. Pending for court on the houses, we have 3 title searches on houses, we have 18. We had 2 closed businesses, applications approved on 6, and applications pending on 0. Community service worker hours were 250 hours, and had 1 health department complaint.
Okay, thank you. Duke?
Actually,
Economic development.
we've had 2 meetings, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, 2 economic development meetings this month. One of them consisted of the generous use of the mayor's church bus that I wasn't able to attend, but I know that it was a very interesting meeting to what I've come to know as the TOTSA building. It's the old Wonder Lodge building, and I would like I want to make some comments, but is there anything that y'all want to say, Barbara, about the mayor, about
Yeah.
Mike McCurdy actually met the council down there and was given a good tour.
No, actually the guy that lists the building. Watts, is that his name? I forget his name.
Okay.
That lists the building, met us and gave us a tour of the building. The outside of that building is looking a mess. It's an eyesore for our community. The people that own the building have listed it so high until it probably will never get purchased, and they are not doing anything with it. And what I did was took my economic development committee down there and took a look at it and toured the building. We're going to need to communicate to the owners that we don't want the eyesore in our community, some kind of way. And that was the first process of that, and you'll hear more about that a little bit later on.
Okay, Mayor, thank you. And to add to that, we had a economic development meeting, was it Tuesday? And to continue with that, Mike McCurdy met with us, this economic development committee, and stated that Bluebird would actually like to have that property, that the Totsa building, that they it made it known, and since they had inquired about it, the price has actually gone up. So the Economic Development Committee quite naturally was disappointed to hear that, and we even talked about the possibility of putting a group together and going down to, is it Miami?
Miami.
And to meet with the individuals that own this building and see, just what they're expecting and what we would could possibly offer. So that was I think it was disappointing to Mike McCurdy. It's certainly disappointing to us as the Economic Development Committee to know that they actually would need that business for the expansion of the bus business, and to not have have somebody work with them. It was sort of disappointing, but he went on and told us about, I forget how many square feet. It's really a nice building, and it's a bone of contention with all of us. The first thing you see when you come into Fort Valley is Bluebird Body Company, and you see this big, long vacated building. So I think it's certainly the intention of the council, the Economic Development Committee, to work with these people to hopefully, bring some sort of business in here to occupy that building. We also discussed, there's been a mention, as I told the Economic Development Committee, about the possibility of us out at Lanes having some kind of RV park so people could come in and visit us and visit Fort Valley and visit the college and the Bluebird Bus Company and have somewhere to park. So it was brought to our attention by the mayor that we have that out there on 49 that is currently occupied by the DOT that, you correct me, Mayor, has some 25 hookups. Most of it may be 26 hookups. It's out right beyond the New Way. And I think that, I'm hoping that when the DOT vacates that property, they'll leave it like it was when they found it. I don't think we had an answer at the time, and I don't know if it's $300,000 price tag. Is that or something?
Well, that's the starting price.
That was a discussion about that, and like I say, from over the last years, we've had, we got out at Lanes, we have parking for RVs, and I personally heard just last week people say we just need a place to park where we can spend more than just a few hours out here. So that was an interesting discussion about that. And then Lisa Wilson at Fort Valley State College made a video presentation about the college and all the financial aspects. It was all positive and about the fact that it looks like that we're going to be up in the fall quarter, was it, Mayor, though, in the student population.
Yes.
And
it's inclined.
that was a positive. Had a lot of positive things to say about Fort Valley State. And then we had a lengthy presentation from Bob Hamilton, who Jimmy has mentioned to you about, who has worked so hard along with Jimmy to bring this aviation school to Fort Valley State. And he really had some, and I don't want to sit and read, Jimmy, you might want to comment, but it was just so many positive aspects of what could happen if we had that aviation. He went on and told us about the shortage of pilots, the planes that were parked as a result of not having trained pilots, and it was really a very interesting presentation as it always is, and I think Jimmy and them have been to Atlanta and they've worked really hard to try to make this happen, and the mayor's gonna write a letter, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to the right people and see this come to fruition one day. And last but not least, the restaurant just opened now next door to Corey's. I refer to it as Sharp's Kitchen. I know it's not the name of it, but I'll have to tell you, my good buddy David Slappy called me the other day, and David, he doesn't leave him supply company. He always orders something to go, and he was telling me how good it was. So he's beat me to the punch. I have not been down there, but if he says it's good, it's got to be good. So
You know, if it's a restaurant, I've
what
been
is
there.
the current name? Is it?
They just call it Southern Cooking. As
Southern.
far as I know, all I know is Southern Cooking.
Anyway, I ask all of you to give it a shot and help support them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Councilman Lane. One of the impactful things that came out of that Economic Development Committee that Jimmy said that they would do, as we do this call to action about this aviation degree program, he would get some pilots to bring those planes in here and sit them right out there by Fort Valley State's gate.
Entrance, yeah.
Their entrance, and then call CNN, as long as they don't put it right there. But anyway, bring it in here and let's do that. The call to action, do whatever we got to do in order to get that done. Thank you so much for that. Now, Councilwoman Collins is not here tonight because she has some medical challenges with a family member. Anything you want to say about finance?
Nothing other than some of you all probably were unfortunate and received some nastygram letters about paying your past due property taxes. So those of you who received those letters, you need to come in and see us. We're getting ready to go into the second phase, which will add about another $50 or $60 to your charge. So I'm encouraging people to come in and pay their past due property taxes. And I also want to thank the county commissioners. They did go ahead and submit an advance to the city on our 2008 sales tax. As you all know, when that sales tax was passed, they floated bonds, which means they make the bond payments before they will give us a payout because we chose not to do the bonds. But they did go ahead and give us an advance of $2 million on our sales tax. And we really appreciate them doing that because they didn't have to do that. We really appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, before we get ready to go into executive session, I do need to mention that Councilman Lane made mention of the Totsa building and us going to call to action to try to, if we had to go to Miami, go and talk with people. I asked if they wanted me to go to Argentina, but they said the guy was in, the people that owned it are in Argentina. And so they said they wanted us to go to Miami. And I think I saw the chief said he wanted to be a part of that delegation.
I feel as if y'all might need some security.
But anyway, we hope it won't come to that. What we would like not to see is to come off of 49, coming off the interstate, come in and see a state-of-the-art complex out there that the Utility Commission is considering building. Come into Fort Valley and see Bluebird to your left and a rundown building to your right. That's what we are trying to make sure that we can clean that up before that gets started. And so whatever we have to do to make that happen, we're going to try to do that. All right.
Before you do that, I want to say one more thing.
Okay.
And it's sort of along with what Councilman Barnes said. The city, we realize that we've been under a deluge of rain lately, and it's all we can do to keep these lots and our own yards mowed. But I just want to let you know that Mr. Calvin Jones has been instructed by all of us to help us as a community keep Fort Valley pretty. And one of the things we got to do is these vacant properties that people own that live up the country could care less how the yard looks. We're gonna be on top of those kind of things. And if you have a problem with somebody abandoned building and it's grown up and it's snaky and it's we want to know about it, because that's intention of I think the council and the community to want to have these places make people want to come to Fort Valley. Thank you.
And
Okay.
explain to them that even though it is our property or abandoned property, we will only let it sit there for so long.
Right,
And
Right.
then we'll
Right.
clean it up. Nobody wants an eyesore in their community.
exactly. Okay, all right. If that's everything, now we're going to entertain a motion to go into executive session, and I need to ask the council indulgence because we do have a utility commission person sitting back there. Is it okay if she goes in executive session with us, or you want us to wait until we discuss it? And,
My preference to, in my
The council.
conversation with you, just council.
okay, we ask that you wait because we are going to take action after we come out of executive session. This process has been going on for a pretty good while, but this is an attorney-client privilege matter that deals with property. So we will go into closed session for that, and we'll come back out and take action. Thank you so much for coming out tonight, those of you who are not going to stay. And the ones who are going to stay, give us a few minutes. Okay?
Need a motion there.
I need a motion.
that we
I
go
second.
into executive session.
Okay, motion by Barnes, second by Lane. All in favor, let it be known by aye. Aye. All right, and the motion carries. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being patient with us and giving us time to do some things that need to be done. Item number 3 on our agenda dealt with the acquisition, the property, the old hospital property. And we approved some months ago to give that property or dedicate that property to the Utility Commission for the purpose of building an administrative complex, and of course the term was municipal complex. The Utility Commission has presented us with a lease to be signed, which is a 50-year lease to be signed, which they did not want to do building unless that happens. Now, in our discussions, in our advisement from our attorney, as well as our own discussions, the building that the Utility Commission is now operating in, the property that the Utility Commission is now operating in, belongs to the city. Even though the Utility Commission use money to renovate, to do whatever, and would do the same thing at the new property. Never had a lease, never operated with a lease because it's not two separate entities. The Utility Commission is an arm of the city, even though the legislature created, like they do with the development authorities and the downtown development authority and all of these, created their own governing body at that point. That still does not forego the fact that they cannot purchase property. The property belongs to the city. And the new property out here would still belong to the city, but the council has agreed to allow the Utility Commission the opportunity to utilize that property. So this council, it is the feeling of this council that we do not have to sign a lease, and especially not a 50-year lease. Now, our attorney came up with some common ground things that we could do, maybe 4 or 5 or whatever. But it's out of the opinion that it is not necessary for the city to sign a lease with an arm of its own. And so now, if there needs to be any further discussion on that, there are other documents that the city has been requested to sign, wherein they are not separate entities, and they have asked the city to sign them. So we will not sign those either until we come to some common consensus as to what we are going to do here. If the city decides, if a lease had to be signed, if the city decided to go over next week and say, after y'all put $2 million into the building over there on Antoine Street, and the city decides to get out, they would still say get out. They would still have to get out. It has been a unitary move on the part of the Utility Commission and the city that the Utility Commission would operate out of a property that's owned by the city. And we want to, as a council, continue that cooperation. So I'll entertain a motion at this time that we will not sign a 50-year lease with the Utility Commission.
So moved.
I second it.
Okay, moved by Bryant and seconded by Melba, that we will not sign a lease agreement, a 50-year lease agreement with the Utility Commission. All in favor, let it be known by the show of hands. Opposers, same sign. And it's unanimous. Thank you so much. I will convey that to the commission chair, and if further negotiations need to be done, then I will relate to you what is said. Okay? And I would suggest that if further negotiations are done, we have the presence of both attorneys, the Utility Commission attorney as well as the city attorney in place.
And I think your first words were important, Mayor, is making a statement that we, following the advice of our attorney.
Yes, sir.
And of course, with
Okay.
the council meeting as well, but I want to make that known for the record.
And make this known for the records that the council does want the Utility Commission to build the complex, the state-of-art complex out there on 49 for the purpose of enhancing economic development. It is not the intention of a council to take the Utility Commission's money. It is not the intention of a council to throw them out after they spend whatever amount of money they're going to spend over there. It is not intention of a council to do that. That would be detrimental to the city. It would be detrimental to the economic development of this city. And it's just, there's nobody on this council that plans to do that, and should be nobody in the future that plans to do that.
And again, one last thing, Mayor, the
And
sole
spending
purpose,
taxpayers' money, right?
the sole purpose, to make it clear, not for any other purposes, but the sole purpose
Yes,
for the Utility Commission to use that property as they see fit, not to
exactly.
accommodate anybody else.
With that being said, I hope that's going to be adequate, but we will wait and hear from the Utility Commission further. I will be glad to, if y'all think I should put it in writing, we'll put it in writing. I'll be glad to convey that, and whatever their determination is to do later on, then we will do that.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
And I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Bryant, and before we adjourn, I do need to say this before we carry that. There were some items taken from the old hospital by Utility Commission personnel. They were instructed to go over and pull all the wiring and different type things that were of value out of there and remove it before somebody else steals it, because piping had been, copper had been taken and different things have been taken. Our Public Works Department removed 2 air conditioners and took it out to Public Works, and the Utility Commission staff took wiring and some other copper and some other things and sold it. They took it to Macon and sold it. And they were upset with me because I said on TV that they took it. We are not saying that they stole it, but the money is at the Utility Commission Department. When a decision is made as to how we move forward, then those funds will be given to whoever it needs to be given to at that point. I did want to clear that. I had a meeting with the staff and the chair the other day about that. Okay? All right? All in favor of adjournment, let it be known by the word aye.
Aye.
Aye.